You've seen all these bits of video, all these photos of Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, and all of it paints a picture of two guys who are just big buds who bonded over their shared love of young women. But we have a new video that I'd never seen before, and I doubt you have either, of Jeffrey Epstein in a 2010 deposition. And it's dark material, but also goes to a really suspicious place at the end. Take a look.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Well, that's not a great way to answer that, right? I mean, the right answer is no. Or more realistically, because they were at a lot of events, and I'm sure that there were girls younger than 18 there in a non-sexual context, you could say, we've been at social events and there were younger girls there, but obviously not in any sort of relationship or sexual context. But that isn't what he said, is it? That's not even close to what he said. He used his 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights under that, which you're allowed to do. And technically, that doesn't mean that if you were to answer it honestly without using those rights, you would be incriminating yourself. But I'm not a judge and I'm not a lawyer. It's just you and me talking, and we know what it means when people use that. If the answer was no, wouldn't he say it? Why wouldn't he? Is he like me? He just hates spoilers so much that he doesn't want to ruin the investigation for the audience or something? Now that's highly suspicious. And by the way, okay, maybe you're MAGA and you think, well, you're a lib, you're biased. You don't get to evaluate whether he should use his 5th Amendment rights. Well, Donald Trump did say the mob takes the 5th. If you're innocent, why are you taking the 5th Amendment? If you're innocent, do not remain silent. You look guilty as hell. And that means Jeffrey Epstein, boom, guilty as hell about not him socializing with women under 18, him and Donald Trump socializing with women under 18. And look, it would have been easy for him to lie if it wasn't a deposition. There's legal consequences to lying during a deposition. And he was clearly being very careful there, wasn't he? I'm not even just referring to the last answer about the girls or whatever. He was asked, did you have a social relationship with Donald Trump? And he paused for multiple seconds. Well, I mean, the answer is obviously yes, they were friends for years. And by the way, there's nothing illegal with them being friends in that way. So why be so suspicious? Why be so careful, I should say? Why be so measured in your response? Because that was how he was approaching all of these questions. He was hyper aware of the possibility that he would incriminate himself and potentially Donald Trump. Now at this point, 2010, I don't know how much he cares about incriminating Donald Trump. They're probably friends for years after that, but I don't know for sure. I don't want to speculate. But that said, that video looks really damning. And again, not just from my point of view, Donald Trump says that answer is very damning. And I would love to hear what Donald Trump or the White House think about that video or some of these other revelations, but you're probably not gonna find that because Donald Trump is cracking down on their ability to talk about this. They have specifically said, you do not communicate to the press about the Epstein thing without the highest level of vetting, which is not the approach you take when it's just a boring story that doesn't really matter and it's just a waste of time. They're cracking down as hard as they've ever cracked down on a subject before. And you and I understand why, because all of this looks really, really bad. And they are getting an assist, okay? And this is what's gonna be really interesting to watch. These two stories we just talked about, how is the media gonna cover it? Not responsible media, I'm talking about right-wing media here. Did you know that Fox News has mentioned Barack Obama more than 3 times more than Jeffrey Epstein since Tulsi Gabbard did her little squirrel hoax? Yeah, because that's the whole point of it, okay? We wanna look like we're getting into the deep state and we're figuring out what's really going on in these smoke-filled rooms, except that we don't wanna do that. at all. We don't want to talk about the thing that's gonna anger Donald Trump. We don't want to be sued for $10 billion or whatever. So we're gonna go with the hoax. That's what they're doing. And maybe nobody's surprised by that. That's what Fox has always done. But these independent right-wing media people, the Charlie Kirks and the Steve Bannons and the Alex Joneses and everything, come on, buddy. He's in the files. He's in the files. And Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, come on, that answer. If that had been about Hunter Biden, you know you'd be changing your pants already. So don't pretend that that's not compelling content or whatever. And here's what I'm doing. I am hoping that you do what I expect you'll do, which is to cover up and deflect and avoid and thereby prove to your audience that there ain't a damn thing independent about you. You are a paid PR hack for this regime. That's all you are, that's all you've ever been, that's all you've ever aspired to be. So brush this under the rug. Cover this up, distract with some other story. Talk about Emmanuel Macron's wife or whatever. Talk about literally anything other than the increasing cloud of suspicion hanging over your God emperor. I'm begging you.